Okay, thanks everyone. Welcome to our first builder call of the year, 2017.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year.
Hey, so we want to dig into this right away. So you've all received your StrengthsFinder book. You've read the beginning and then done your StrengthsFinder assessment. What did those mean to you? Were these enlightful or insightful to you guys?
What was that?
Anyone share? Was this enlightening or insightful to you guys to see the strengths that showed up as your top
What
five?
was insightful to you?
Yeah.
It was very insightful to me. A lot of it, I thought I wasn't surprised a bit, but the last one, which was an activator, surprised me. Although I do know that I have the aspect of my personality, but I have to be in the right mood, and if I'm in the right mood, I'm a total activator.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I liked how it suggested the different types of personality traits to pair with, because I can totally see that with myself, that there are, certain areas where I need that partnership.
Mm-hmm.
Get me motivated and going.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what would actually be helpful for this call, just, where I experienced the same thing. Some of mine were like totally predictable, and some of them were like, oh, that's interesting. And when you have the aha ones, that's probably the strength that you're not playing to the most, that you're kind of forgetting. Mm-hmm. Would everybody just type in the chat box your strengths, just like 1 strength, 2 strength, 3, because that'll help for the.
Wait, I'm still getting familiar with this app. Where's the comment? Where do I?
Are you on your phone?
Yeah. So if you're on your phone, Brandon, if you just tap the screen, then there should be a little chat function that shows up.
Oh.
There we go.
Well, wait, where it says share content?
No, just the little
box.
Chat box.
Okay, I'm really bad at this, so of course I can't find a chat box.
Okay, you have to click participants and then go to chat.
Oh.
Good job, Brandon.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Amber, you were trying to ask something. What was it?
Oh, hey, Amber.
I actually wasn't going to ask a question. I was going to make a comment. So, how you had said that usually the one that you're not utilizing is the one that is something that you really should utilize. Well, like responsibility for me is one of my top characteristics, which is awesome and horrible at the same time, because I find myself assuming responsibility for everyone in the free world, which is a problem. So it's something that I'm learning how to not necessarily do less of, but do in the right way. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Good insight there. I think as you read into the book, and actually, I realized I think the book has the same. I'm trying to remember which one went deeper. Actually, no, I think the book went deeper when you looked up each one of the strengths, but it may have actually been very similar or even the same content that you could jump into after you finish the assessment online. But the point is, when you read up on your strengths, it kind of talks about what this looks like to develop it and have it show up in really healthy ways, which was useful for me to see, like what's really healthy and what's like an overbearing strength, right? Like too much.
Right.
Sweet. Oh, this is so cool. Kathleen is 1 strategist. That does not surprise me. 2 empathic. Cool. 3 learner. Does not surprise me at all, because she's always reading books and trying to figure stuff out and watching videos. 4 achiever and 5 input. Cool. Brandon's another strategic. Oh, we have 3 strategics so far. You guys, that's funny, because when we did the mastermind with Laura's frontline for our upline, there were 3 strategists out of 15 people, right? So we've got a lot of strategic on our team.
This is really interesting.
Brandon, what is woo?
Winning over others.
That's neat.
Competitive.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
Oh no, winning over others, as in like wooing people.
Yeah, it's not even competitive.
Like establishing, like getting there. One of the quotes was like, I have a tendency to get to know other people to where like my taxi drivers propose to me, like stuff like that. Like I have a tendency to like want to talk to everyone. And
Okay.
You just win people over, man. You're awesome sauce. That's what you are.
That is neat. In our other group, only one person had that, and it was actually Laura Jacobs' daughter has a woo.
Ooh, Amber has a ranger. We've never seen that before. Amber, what does a ranger do?
So arrangers are people who kind of connect the dots, and we're kind of like, it's not quite like strategy. You know, we don't think ahead about necessarily like, what do I need in order to get this to work the best? But it's more of like, all right, these are all the variables. How can I arrange these such, or how can I position them such that everything is going to work together the absolute best? Like, how can I make everything smooth? How can I make sure that all the pieces fit together such that everything works exactly like it's supposed to? It's a little bit type A control freak, honestly. But it's just making sure that everything is situated exactly such that it will work the absolute best way possible.
So it's kind of like it's related to strategic. It sounds like.
Right. Slightly different.
Mm-hmm. And in some ways related to connectedness too.
Yeah.
Empathy, intellection, communication. Okay, so then mine were achiever, strategize, activator, ideation, connectedness, a lot of go-getter stuff. So Corey, empathy, adaptability. Oh, that's a cool one. And then connectedness. We've got a lot of connectedness going on. Holy cow. Ideation and activator.
It's fun for me to see what like Cassie and Corey and Amber all have empathy in their top 5. And
Kathleen.
Oh yeah, there she is. Yep. Yeah. And Kathleen. So Cassie, your entire team has empathy as one of their top strengths. And so I think that's something to really look at and consider. One, from a leadership perspective, Cassie, as you're, helping people play to their strengths, but then for you all to recognize and realize, okay, how do I use this strength to fuel my business, right? To grow doTERRA organically and in a way that feels good to me. So, okay, I want to kind of talk about that and move the conversation in that direction. Specifically from an enrollment perspective, how do you guys see these strengths coming into play in your doTERRA business and to enroll people?
Oh, can I preface that question just a teeny bit?
Mm-hmm.
So remember that we're going to be on a nice cycle for the team calls now. So the first week of every month is going to be about enrolling. The second week will be about volume, LRP, like retention, team support, all that stuff. And then the third week will be belief pyramid. And the fourth week will be rank planning and comp plan stuff.
To get you prepared for the next month.
Exactly. So since it's the first week of the month, we're gonna just dig right into how everyone's strengths, how we can enroll people into our teams using our own strengths. You guys remember when we started this conversation last month in December, we talked about how a lot of people feel self-betrayal when they're doing business but not playing to their strengths. Like if you were Cassie and Cassie is trying to enroll people the way that I enroll people, maybe, which like Jeff and I go to social functions with big groups and we'll find connections there and that might work for my strengths, but that might be totally off for Cassie. And if Cassie tries to like force herself to do it, she's going to feel a level of self-betrayal and it will shut down her excitement. It'll shut down the results because people will kind of get the vibe that this is kind of weird. I'm like, it feels like you're headhunting me. You're like trying to get something to happen, because it's not natural to her. So the opposite is looking at this just golden list of everybody's strengths and asking how can we enroll people, what Jeff just said, how can we enroll people according to what we're each naturally good at, where the energy naturally flows. And it might take a few seconds to look at your own list and kind of get the wheels spinning, but we want to have just a really good group discussion about this and pull the genius out of each other.
Well, I'll say something since no one else is. So with the adaptability, that's where, and you guys have heard me say this a lot, like I say, I have to do it this way. I think I have to do it this way because this is what it says online or on this program or on this video. And then I get so stressed out that I don't do anything. And so my adaptability comes into where I feel like wherever I'm at, and I don't know, I know I'm going to have to really work on this as a strength, because it's like wherever I'm at emotionally or just what's going on in my life, I can adapt to that and I can enroll according to where I'm at. But if I feel like I have to do it a certain way, I will shut down.
Mm-hmm. I think this is really insightful and a great segue into talking about the system that we use, right? So you guys, for every process, there's some kind of education or exposure or teaching, someone about your product, and then there's some kind of like buying opportunity. In doTERRA we call it enrolling, right? And then there's some kind of follow-up to check on how they're doing. That's the process. You will see that everywhere you go in everything that happens. We bought a car and we went and got educated about it. They taught us about the car and helped us decide which one to buy.
They enrolled us.
There was an actual transaction of money. And then there's been follow-up. They wanted to see how we're doing. We had to bring it in for, a little oil change or whatever. Like there's
we even got on their LRP plan by buying their maintenance package.
We did. But I mean, you can see it everywhere in buying a house, in so many different things, in facets of life. So the system is meant to bring that to the doTERRA business, but the how is totally up to you. And I think maybe that's, when we took this Strengths Finder assessment, Andrew and I did, we realized this was really insightful to us because Andrew and I have very different strengths. And not even that we have very different strengths, because we actually have two, I think, that are the same. but they show up for us differently. And that's really important to remember. So I would challenge each of you to look at your strengths and ask yourself the question, how can I use these strengths, use my strengths to grow my doTERRA business? And not the way that somebody else thinks you should do it. There's lots of like best practices out there is what we refer to them as. And that's someone's specific method, step by step. This is how they've done whatever, whether it's been a Facebook class or enrolling somebody or some follow-up tool. And so we want to be less attached to best practices and follow more closely understanding the principles and playing to our strengths. Now, if you're totally stuck in a rut and have no idea what to do, best practices are a great place to like get ideas going and get started.
And I love that you did. If you were to open up the launch guide, and in fact, if you grab a launch guide from that thing back there, if you were to open up the launch guide, you see pipes, right? Pipes is the business formula. That's the system. Like you can't leave out any pipe and any of the pipe sections and have your doTERRA business work. Something will fall apart if you leave out any one of those. But like the how-to, the way that you do it can be totally different. Would it be helpful, you guys, if I shared an example of a couple examples of enrolling according to some of these strengths? So I know that it's not been an uncommon thing for me to hear that people get stuck because they think that they have to enroll doTERRA the way that I enroll people in doTERRA, because I'm a team leader here, and so I have a big loud voice, right? And one of the strengths on my list is activator. Activator means that you just rapid fire. You don't have to process, you don't have to think about it or make a plan, even though I do have strategize, which is making the plan. So that's actually a good combo for me. It works great for me. But activator means that you just start the fire. And I enrolled 3 people this last weekend onto just 3 customers of ours, and actually one of them's a builder prospect, so that's really cool. But I guess everyone's a builder prospect. Oh yeah, there's the pipes. You can't lose any of those pipes. But the guts of the launch guide are the how-to, all the the class scripts and all that. That's all best practice stuff. You don't actually have to do it that way. It's just what we know has been really effective for a lot of people.
And it's a great place to start if you're like, I have no idea what to do, right? Yep. Like go and learn some best practices and get a feel for it. And then really look at either how you can play your strengths into those best practices or develop your own that feel really in alignment with the way that you operate.
And the results that you get from doing what's in the launch guide might teach you, something else might feel a little more natural to me. Does that make sense? So then you tweak it and your action's a little bit different, and then that will produce different results for you. But so anyway, so because I have the activator, I can just rapid fire. And I had a friend that said she wanted to get some oils. In fact, she had a surgery last week, a sinus surgery. And I just told her, you really should be using some helichrysum and frankincense to help with the inflammation and help with manage the pain and things like that and help it mend faster. And she didn't have a doTERRA membership. Anyway, I had one phone call with her and she ended up taking advantage of the 200p frankincense special. And that's really activator energy that does that. If I were someone here that had more strategist and empathic, more strategists everywhere here, what would strategist look more like instead of just, hey, you should really be using those oils. Can I get you signed up? Do you trust me enough to do that? That's activator. And there's hardly any activator on here.
So I'd love to hear from someone who's a strategizer or in another strength. How would you guys use some of your strengths to talk to someone like that?
Yeah, someone that says, you know, oils are interesting to me. I'm open.
Because I would not say that. You should really use frankincense and helichrysum. That's not my personality.
And it worked for me because I have that strength.
Because that's Andrew.
If you were a strategist, what would you do? Or what could you do?
Well, since my number one trait was strategy, I should probably say something. I think for me, when I'm working at the salon and I'm speaking to the limited doTERRA products that we carry, it's a great segue because me being working front desk most of the time when our girls are off or on their vacation, I'm already preemptively deciding to bring up essential oils since it's right there next to my point of sale. Mm-hmm. And it's a great way for me to segue and introduce myself. And the salon is completely 100% okay with that, that aspect and that piece. So me, I'm already anticipating what problems they're going to have. Like I'm already thinking they're going to talk about headaches. They're going to talk about sunburn. They're going to talk about, disinfectants for their children. So I'm already in my mind putting together a strategy of how I'm going to bring up this conversation. But then teaming that up with my last 4 talents with input, that's all about sharing statistics and data and knowledge. And things that I've gathered in my head. And I've told you guys before this, that Essential Living book, I probably reference it at least 3 or 4 times a day just to read it. Not even I don't have a problem. There's nothing going on. I'm like, oh, what other information can I find in here that I didn't know?
Yeah.
And then the wooing piece comes naturally to me because then I just get them to like me. We start talking, we start chatting. And then all of a sudden we're making plans to go grab coffee later. And then I think that connectiveness and the intellectual piece follows. But I've noticed that a lot of my strengths tend to gear towards facilitating and are more of this passive strength. And so I think for me, it's analyzing the best approach that I feel comfortable with when it comes to enrolling that because I can talk about it till kingdom come, but I need to be able to take that energy and that potential energy and turn it to more of a kinetic energy and really find the best practice for me to then segue off of that talking piece into the actual doing piece.
Did you guys notice what he started that spiel with? So strategic means that not only do you lay out the steps so that you have a path, but you're predicting the outcomes and the twists and the turns and people's responses, which is what you said. You said, I already know that they're going to sit down in the chair. They're going to talk about headaches. They're going to talk about this. So you're predicting what's going to happen so that you can build a strategy off of the most likely outcomes or twists and turns. And that is a brilliant quality for helping people enroll in doTERRA because I can think, okay, my sister-in-law has a sinus infection. I know that she resists this, but she likes this stuff. She gets upset when I say this, but she likes it when people ask her about this kind of stuff, right? You form the strategy for how you can set up a few interactions that will work for that person, right? So that's brilliant. Also, the winning over others, the woo, is so useful because you know that every sales book that was ever written says that building trust with prospects, people buy because they like you a lot of the time, right? So very cool.
Okay, I have a comment.
Yes, please, Kathleen.
The strategist part of me really likes to plan things out and kind of, map it out and have good ideas about things. But that same strategist doesn't like to manipulate people. So that's where my number 2 empathy comes in because I've had a lot of life experiences and it makes the whole interaction more genuine, and I don't feel like fake because I truly have gone through a lot of stuff in my own life, and I can totally understand what other people are going through. So I guess putting those two together makes it a more genuine approach, I guess.
Yeah.
And that I'm a learner, I mean, I like to share what I learned, which feeds into both of those. So
Totally. And Kathleen, I noticed that in your top 5, you have learner and input, and Brandon, I have input as one of mine as well. And so we love that, that gathering information. We love to receive input, right? So that we can learn and then, turn around and have that knowledge and everything for others. Kathleen, I love what you said. See, to get a little vulnerable here and share an experience with me and Andrew, I see some of Andrew's directness, Kathleen, and to me, it doesn't feel authentic.
You called it abrasive before.
Yeah, I have. I called it abrasive. And so you used the word manipulative, Kathleen. And in some ways, I would interpret somebody else playing to their strengths as, if I tried to do that, it would come across as manipulative because that's not my strength, right? So I love that you're looking for how your strengths play into this so that you feel really authentic with your message, right? Because if I tried to come off as Andrew sometimes, I've tried before and it doesn't work. It doesn't feel comfortable for me. It doesn't feel comfortable with the people that I'm talking to and working with. But when Andrew talks with people, I mean, they're pleased and happy, right? They get the results that they're looking for. Andrew was really direct with them and said, if you don't take this, you're not going to get well, and they're like, okay, you're right. Yeah, I'm going to do this, Whereas if I say it, they're like, don't tell me what to do, So I love that you brought that up. And as we talk about this, something I want to remind everyone is, even though, so Kathleen, you and Brandon have strategic in your top 5, but that strength may look different for both of you, And of course, it's going to depend on the other strengths that are in your top 5 as well, and all of your values playing together. So as we share these ideas, I think it's important that we do share them so that we can see how other people are playing to their strengths, but also to remember and remind ourselves that the most important thing is that we're grounding ourselves in our own strengths and feeling confident and comfortable in our own abilities, and then playing to how that feels for us. And ultimately, that's the message that we wanted you guys to get through reading the Strengths Finder book and taking this assessment, is that whatever the strengths you have, they're yours. Develop them, focus on them, learn how to really live all facets of your life playing to your strengths, and then partner with people to help cover up some of your weaknesses, right? To help your weaknesses. Oh, sorry, I'm moving into a new train of thought. So last night I watched Elise Chedevy's Branding Yourself, and we did that assignment a couple weeks ago. And I actually hadn't watched the whole video by myself. Andrew watched it, but I didn't. And I realized that having my strengths through the Strengths Finder assessment was really helpful to watch that video and Branding Yourself, because it one helps me in another way identify some of my strengths, but also now that I have my strengths, I know how to move forward and go forward with that. So I would that's on our Facebook page, you guys. If you have a moment and are looking for ways to up level, I would recommend you go back and watch that video and maybe do the whole Branding Yourself all over again now that you have a better idea of what your strengths are.
And that's a great idea, especially because before, you might have thought that a strength that you had really wanted to be your strength was your strength, but it's actually not. So that Branding Yourself concept, there's a few people on this call that weren't on before. Branding Yourself is a video from Elise Chedevy. She's the first lady to hit double presidential diamond in doTERRA, and she just grows like wildfire, and she's so successful. And she says that her secret sauce is that she has her personal brand, meaning that she knows how to take her strengths and tell people why she'd be a good partner with them, or why she'd be a good asset to them. So I'm looking at Amber. Amber has responsibility. If I were to think, how could responsibility show up as a really good enrolling tool? I mean, I'm thinking, so you've got people that, there are so many people that have wellness goals, but they don't stick with it, right? And Amber could say something. I mean, Amber, your strength could come across like, hey, my gift is responsibility. I'm so good at keeping committed to something that I say I'm going to do, and I can totally help other people do that. So if you really want to work on these 2 health goals this year, I can help you get the stuff that you need and then help you stick with it so that you actually get the results. You see that? And all of a sudden, Amber is now a big asset to that person's wellness goal, which is why they would want to enroll in Amber's business. Have you guys, when we're talking about enrolling, you know that someone will get the enrollment, right? The pharmacy will get the enrollment, or the doctor will, or the will, or you will, or
Or all three.
will.
Yeah.
But someone will get the enrollment, and I mean, or it could, like, death, right? Death could get the enrollment. Someone will get it. And so since you know that someone will get it, and we know that we've got one of the best options possible, like, why not use our strengths to help win over those enrollments that will go to somebody anyway, when we know that we've got one of the best options for people? What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. That's good.
I would love to hear just a little bit there's tons of empathy on this team. That's really cool. So a lot of relationship stuff going on. So from some of you empathy people, how do you see empathy being a strength that helps with enrollments?
Kathleen, you touched
I can tell you, sorry.
But no, Amber, yeah, please.
I can tell you that there's been quite a few people that I've managed to enroll just because I understood what they were going through. Like, they could see in like a few minutes conversation that I got where they were coming from. Like, I understood exactly how it felt to struggle with something long term and to feel like you didn't have any other options, let alone supportive, healthy options. Like, I know what it's like to feel trapped in the healthcare or disease management, more accurately, system. And it wasn't forceful. It wasn't like, it was just me having a conversation with somebody and they're like, oh my God, like, you get this. Okay, well, you get this, so I'm going with you. Like, clearly something is working for you, so I want whatever that is. And I think that is, it's just amazing to be able to connect with people on that level. Like, for them to know that you're not just trying to sell them a product, like, you're invested in who they are and you're invested in where they're going. And there's just so much validity and so much power in feeling like you've been heard and respected and being seen as a person. So that is just, it's just something that I do. And I think that there's a lot of people, whether they realize it or not, whether it's a strength on this piece of paper or not, for you, I think that all of us who are drawn to this business, it's our thing. It's what we do. Like, we just get it. So it's so powerful.
Yeah, I love the way that the culture of doTERRA has not been, oh my gosh, make gazillions of dollars, buy a car, like, and while you can do that, right, with doTERRA, the message and the culture is so much of that empathy and that heart and that authenticity of nurturing and loving other people, and it really is health and wellness, and not in the health and wellness in that it's a fun little shake that you just drink, but it's health and wellness, and that we have versatile natural tools that we didn't patent, we didn't develop or synthesize, but that we've in a way perfected, taken what nature perfected and extracted that more accurately. And now we're seeing people. I mean, we've seen the impact, the global impact that doTERRA has had in its 8 years already, right? Totally brought brand awareness to essential oils. More people than ever know what an essential oil is, or at least have heard the term. It's been beautiful to see that in doTERRA's culture. Thank you, Amber.
Any other thoughts about empathy? Or does anyone have a strength on here that you're like, how the heck would that help with my enrollments?
Andrew, I want to go back to that activator.
Okay.
So it just showed up for me how that would help, because this is when I'm, working with people, with clients specifically, who have come and are asking for help. So last week I had someone who had a bunch of problems, and so I just went through and figured out all these things they needed, and I did do the activator. I said, okay, you need this and this and this and this and this, and you need to do this, and that sort of thing. And see, this is where I've had trouble in the past, but I actually did this last week, and this is where what can help me with enrollments is I said, do you have a doTERRA membership? because they were mostly oils that I was telling them they needed. And they did, unfortunately, so the enrollment didn't take place. But because it's so easy for me to tell people what they do need when I'm in that type of a situation, that's where I get to work on that and allow that to become an enrolling strength.
Yes, it gives you the ability to be direct like that. It's really good.
So I think something that's interesting to look at here is that we have our strengths, what we naturally gravitate towards, and then I'm even in this call, I'm kind of picking up on, we have some limiting beliefs, right? That may in some ways direct the flow of our strengths or contradict some of our strengths or prevent them from showing up in certain ways. So I think that's something to really be aware of too. Always do what's feeling authentic to you, but always be willing to have a level of introspection and question, is this real? Like is this like Corey, basically your story that you shared. For you, it was really easy to share and tell somebody exactly what they needed when you're in that authentic space, right? So maybe asking yourself, how can I live in that authentic space and be in that space more often so that I can confidently and comfortably use my strength of activator in telling people what they need and helping them really get the results they're looking for and really feel in alignment with myself.
Any other strengths that anyone wants to bring up?
I did want to talk about, like, tying into what Jeff said. When I was reading my strengths and, like, my actions that I could do, empathy was the only one that was like, this may be a struggle for you. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you empathize with someone so much and you don't want to hurt their feelings so much, or you don't want to be, whatever to them, because you're, like, picking up on things that you don't do anything and you're inactive. And so it said to partner up with people who are, what did it say? It was a different personality type that will move you to action and to be direct and blunt.
Activator?
What?
Was it activator?
No, it wasn't activator. It was something more about they'll help you be more okay with being blunt towards people and not be so worried about offending everybody.
Well, and again, not necessarily like being blunt, but more comfortably and confidently speaking your truth, right?
Yeah, and being direct when you need to.
Yeah, there we go.
It was just saying that empathy can immobilize you.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Cassie, I really like that. There's an option, I believe, to like purchase and get, where all 34 of the strengths actually rank for you. I don't know what that costs. I'm not going to do that because I think it might have even been a couple $100. And this is some great insight, great place for us to start. But I would not be surprised if I have some empathy really close in my, close to my top 5, maybe in my top 10 or something. Yeah. Because Cassie, as you were talking, just kind of distilled upon me, something that I experience is I'm empathizing with people so much sometimes that I'm empathizing with their limiting beliefs. And then I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to say this or I don't want to say that. And you're right. I feel immobilized, right? Mm-hmm. And so I see in that way, it's important that we look at we empathize with people in a really healthy way. And we also lean on some of our other strengths to ensure that we're being kind, but we're not like feeding into their delusional world, right? Like if someone has the belief that the world is so hard and totally out to get them, I genuinely don't believe that. But if I'm really empathizing with them, I don't want to hurt their feelings. But in some ways it may mean that I hold back from sharing ideas that might benefit them or a product that might be good for them that they might really truly benefit, because I don't want to be seen as, according to their limiting beliefs, someone who's trying to rip them off or manipulate them or whatever,
Well, sometimes there's wisdom in knowing or recognizing when someone's just not ready yet and just not giving them information they don't need.
Yes.
That's the empathic person's gift, right?
Yes.
You sense those things.
Totally.
So, Cassie, what you said about partnering with someone that has a complementary strength, that is, you guys, do you realize what a treasure this is in network marketing? I mean, if Cassie knows that her tendency might be to over empathize, which can immobilize her, hi Thomas, then she might be able to partner with, she might specifically go find someone. Maybe she has a friend that is the command strength or whatever strength the book recommends that you partner with.
To strength partner with, yeah.
So you could go through your network of people and find someone that's command, and that could be why you approach them to partner with you. And the pitch could be, hey, my gift is this, right? And that's why this business is such a fit for me, but I need a partner that has the commanding ability and can be direct. And together, I know that our strengths would just make us unstoppable. And if you don't have that person in your downline already, you might work with someone in your upline that has a similar strength until you find someone in your own downline, right? It's smart to partner with people downline to just create a big network of complementary strengths.
That could also be a way to get new builders.
Exactly.
Yeah. I can tell that this is your strength and it would be really valuable on my team.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, great way to open up a conversation too. I've been looking for somebody that has the command strength, and I notice that you really demonstrate a lot of that. And I need a business partner that can help me run with this, blah, blah, blah. And on the conversation goes.
You guys, excuse me. That's another benefit of this book. When I first, took the test and went through the book, I was like, great, well, I don't really need this anymore because now I know my strengths, like what am I going to do with this book, right? But actually, I think this book can be a really useful resource now that you've identified your strengths to go and, every now and then maybe pour into the book and read up on some of the other strengths or some of the ones that would be good for you to partner with, and look at the examples so that you can recognize that strength in other people and help develop it in them as well. Did anyone have developer besides me?
Developer. Nope. No. Maybe someone who's not on the call.
We'll talk about that later.
By the way, because there's so much strategic on here, I can't wait until next week when we talk about recurring volume and LRPs and all that, because that's where the income comes from, and strategic is a good strength for that. So I'm looking at this list, you guys. I feel like we just won the lottery. Like, this is so cool to see all this. And what I hope you're seeing as you think about your strengths and your team members' strengths is that this is possible for you. Jeff and I want to start this new year with, it's a blank canvas, right? You get to paint anything you want on it this year. You get to paint the emotions on the blank canvas that you want, and the energy that you want, and the experiences, and a lot of stuff will unfold unexpectedly, and that's all wonderful too. We've talked about how there's math that makes this business work, right? We've talked about how if you can get in the habit of enrolling a few builders or a few customers in one builder a month, that it would be statistically almost impossible to not be making at least a few $1,000s residually every month within a couple of years. Like, that's like, holy cow, that's an amazing gift you have. And I've had a few little birds chirp in my ears saying, I'm uncomfortable that that's what you're proposing, that I get in the habit of enrolling a few customers in a builder month. That sounds really scary or intimidating to me. And our question for you is, can you imagine playing to that numbers game with your strengths? And you see how all of a sudden it's not intimidating or inauthentic, because it's you being you and you bringing your gifts that the world desperately needs. That you're here for a reason. Whoever said that a few minutes ago in the call, you resonate with this business for a reason. Enrolling a few customers in a builder a month, if you want to pick a different target, you need to tell your mentor. You need to determine what it is really clearly, have it written down, and tell your mentor. Your goal might be enroll one customer a month and one builder every other month, whatever it is, okay? But it needs to be clearly defined. And you need to tell your mentor so that it can be a target that you guys are working together regularly. Does that make sense? If you don't choose anything else, then the default is enroll a few customers in one builder a month. That's 4 people a month. Really, really possible. I met our goal last month, just the last 2 days of the month, because I was like, oh, we've been kind of, all over the place during the holidays. And so I used my activator strength and I hustled and did it. But I'm asking you as a mentor in this team to trust me, though, that you need to have an enrolling target, and it's something that you're consistent with, you guys. 2017 is a world of privilege of an opportunity for you. Conventions in September. Plan on being there at convention. Plan on bringing team members, as many as you can. And you guys, we want to see you walking as silvers, and golds, and platinums. We're so excited for that. We want to see you walking across that stage at convention and being able to cheer for you and throw things at you like confetti, not objects, and just celebrate with you. And to make that happen, you're going to need, for you to be whatever you want to be at convention, you're going to need to have a consistent enrolling pattern. Okay, if it's not a few customers in Builder Month, then what is it? Or if it is that, tell your mentor. Okay, write it down and tell your mentor, and let's start magnifying your strengths so that there can be a pattern that happens every month. And that's what's going to get you your goals, your rank goals, your income goals, that satisfaction of having changed a lot of lives. What were you going to say?
I was just going to make a comment. You guys, Andrew is really bringing out his activator and his achiever strength here, right? And if anywhere that doesn't resonate with you or that feels uncomfortable, you're like, ooh, I don't like that because I don't like being told what to do. Remember this. It's not a direction of you have to do this. It will happen in order for you to be successful, or to, if you want to have a doTERRA paycheck, people will have to enroll, people will have to buy product. Like that's a fact in the nature of how the business works. So if that feels uncomfortable anywhere to you, ask yourself, what feels uncomfortable? Pull out just the facts, using my strengths and wrapping all the facts up in my strengths and what relates to me. Live in that message. People need to come into the business. If you want to have success in this way, or people join your business, people need to enroll, and people need to be taught about the products. People need to be followed up with, but use it to your strength. And that's the message.
Start strategizing with your mentor about this. Don't go more than a week without a mentor call. I mean, I always say like once a week is like the bare minimum until you're like a rock star entrepreneur that's speaking, on big stages in front of 20,000 people. And even those people have regular mentoring that they receive. So start strategizing with your mentor about that, and draw your strengths out. You guys remember what happens in the first few chapters of StrengthsFinder. They talk about what happens when you play to your strengths. It stops becoming this like energy sucking thing where you're like, oh, I've got to get good at this. I've got to get and all of a sudden you just start blossoming. You magnify. It's an exponential growth that happens because the energy already flows here for you. And now we're just going to just blow that right up. And so we're excited for this year. Are you guys excited?
Yes.
Head nods, smiles. Yes, we are too. And thank you for what you bring too. Like, just holy freaking cow. That's like such an awesome list of strengths there.
Thank you, Kathleen, for sharing that link. That's super valuable. Hey, real quick. So call to action before next week. You guys, it's a brand new year. Take 20 minutes, and in that time, meditate maybe for 5, and meditate on the previous year, the experiences that you've had, what your business has looked like. And then also focus on, when you're done with your meditation, focus for the next 15 minutes and write out, maybe journal and write out some goals. What happened last year? Are you making the money that you want to make in this business? And because I'm familiar with our team, I would say probably none of you are, making the money that you'd like to make. And are you having the impact? Is this providing the meaning that you're looking for in your life? And if the answer is no, or not yet, or not enough, then I want you to ask yourself, what can be different? How can I do this differently? How can I play to my strengths? How can I wake up on, January 1st of 2018 and look back and say, yeah, I like the way that things grew. I like the way that things developed. How can things be different? And really, how can you wake up on February 1st of this year and say, yeah, I like how the last month went. I like how it was different.
So the call to rise is?
So the call to rise is spend 20 minutes. 5 minutes meditating, being in a quiet space, focusing on your breath, just clearing your mind. And then take 15 minutes to journal, write out some goals, and then share with your mentor. I would, before our next builder call, please, I would not just encourage, but ask that as part of your call to rise is that you each schedule a call with your mentor this next week at some point.
And talk about that.
Yep.
Can I add to that?
Yeah, please.
Also focus on the things that worked well.
Yes.
Write down things that were successful and that did work for you.
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
that's what you should be doing more of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So focus on the past year and ask yourself what did go well and focus on those things.
Yeah, I love that. That's really good.
Okay, team. Go team, go.
Real quick, hey, just some announcements, things to consider. I'll be reaching out and talking to some people individually about this. Diamond Club is coming up, and we're considering doing Diamond Club, and I will actually come out and travel around. Ooh, we've never had that before. So that is something that I'm considering. I'll talk to you guys individually, and we can talk more about what that looks like. And the other thing is doTERRA announced their New Year, New You promotion. So I'm going to be posting some links on our Facebook group so that you can learn about that and see what that promotion is. The frankincense promotion was extended, and I don't ever remember this happening before. But if you place a 200 PV order before the 15th of this month, you can actually still qualify for that frankincense promotion.
Which means that there's double dipping for new enrollments because they get the New Year, New You, which is 100 PV credit, $100 in credit basically, plus they can get the free frankincense.
Yeah, plus they get the free frankincense.
So
So like a home essentials kit or higher, and bam, they're getting over almost $200 in free product.
Nice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty good.
So something to consider. Not something to consider, something to take advantage of. But the frankincense is until the 15th of the month.
Yep.
So after the 15th, it'll just be the New Year, New You, which is still great. But
Convention this year in 2017, you guys, is in Salt Lake City, and it's in September. So start block that off. And remember, Eric Worre really, he's the pro at this business, right? And he talks about how it really has to be a non-negotiable thing for people that really want to make this work. And those of you that have been to convention, you already know why it's non-negotiable. But start planning for that, and start planning on having family members, your mom in town to take care of the kids or whatever has to happen.
start putting aside $25 a month.
You have to save up for hotel costs, things like that.
Yeah.
The date for convention, just so you know, it's September 6th through 9th. Okay, the 6th through 9th in Salt Lake City. So, and we'll post the recording for this call in just a few minutes here. We'll upload it to YouTube and then post it on the Facebook group. And so you can invite your team members who weren't able to join us live to listen to the recording.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Remember-
Thank
I have
you very much.
Oh.
I have one question since I jumped on super late
Yes.
because alarms didn't go off. So do we have like a document where you wanted us to put all of our strengths?
Oh, everyone posted their strengths, Thomas, in the comments section of in the chat section of the oh my gosh, the call of the Zoom app. So if you're on your phone, Thomas, if you tap the app and then tap under participants, I think there's a chat option.
Oh, hey, cool.
Yeah. In fact, Thomas, if you'll post those right there, I'm going to save them because I want to hold on to them. If you guys want to share your strengths on the Facebook group or save the chat in here just to know, and see the kind of strengths that our team has. That would be helpful for me. So
There's also the Strengths Finder app where we can collaborate. I'm pretty sure our strengths.
What? There's a Strengths Finder app?
Of course, there's an app for everything, guys.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. Okay, well, we're
That's
gonna.
the app queen.
I know.
Okay, we'll figure that out, and then we'll text a link to everybody through a reminder link to the whole team. Thanks,
Awesome.
guys.
All right, cool.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay.
Happy
Thank
New
you.
Year.
Happy New Year.